So yesterday's kit was the Real Grade Astray. Nice kit. I'm eager to get it built. I've said I'm not a huge fan of the Real Grade series in general. Like they're so small for the amount of detail. They're fiddly and kind of a pain, but that looks like it's going to be a fun build, and I'm excited to give it a try. But we're getting back to my jam. A couple of years ago, Bandai released, when they were still doing the Gundam Wing series, they released a mass retail version of the Tallgeese, the original as it appeared in the TV series. Now this one is marketed as the Endless Waltz version, even though the Tallgeese 1 never appeared in Endless Waltz. So it's got slightly different deco, the boosters are a different color, and it's got some slightly different color here and there. But aesthetically, externally, it's identical. However, this is not the only Tallgeese that I got my hands on. A few months later, Bandai did a very limited release to one of their special limited online retailers, the Tallgeese 2. Very hard to come by. I really lucked out. I found this on Amazon.ca for about 50 bucks with free shipping. And I'm like, I am not turning that down, because I love the Tallgeese in all its incarnations. And if I can find myself a Tallgeese 3, which is my favorite version of it, oh, try and stop me. But we're going to take a look at both of these kits side by side, because why not? I want to show off the differences between the two. Aside from just color, but like the additional molding differences between them. Because that should be fun. So would we call this a pair of Tallgeeses? Because is a singular Tallgeese still a Tallgeese, or is it a tall goose? And is two of them a Tallgeese? I'm not sure. But here we've got the Tallgeese 1 and the Tallgeese 2. The Tallgeese 1, as I said, was a mass market retail item, whereas the Tallgeese 2 was released only to one of Bandai's online retailers. I'm not sure which one, I don't remember offhand, and I neglected to look it up before shooting this video, because I'm a schmuck. Tallgeese 1 has this really nice looking digitized painting of the Tallgeese in action. This looks like it's probably reenacting the fight in the Antarctic between Hito in the Heavy Arms and Zechs in the Tallgeese. One of the best moments in the entire Gundam Wing series, because that fight was just neat. You know, them fighting in the Antarctic with nothing around, and they didn't have to give a damn about collateral damage. Box side, fairly typical of Bandai, just has some detail photos of the completed kit, shows off some of the mechanical action. Other side has some bio info, and demonstrates that it is compatible with their action-based series. Tallgeese 2, on the other hand, gives us an image of the mecha as it was piloted by Traize Khushrenada, the leader of one of the factions in Gundam Wing, the name of which I cannot remember. I think he was like the Earth Sphere Alliance or something. It's been years since I watched Gundam Wing. But typical for Bandai, for one of their limited releases, it's all, rather than being in full color, it's printed in this very simple blue. And I don't really get why. Like, all of their limited release kits are always in like a single color. Usually the dominant color of whatever that mobile suit happens to be. So like a Shaw mobile suit would typically be in red. A ground type mobile suit would typically be in green, etc., etc. But it's a really nice looking image. It replicates a pose that the Tallgeese was seen in one of the episodes that was featured toward the end of that series, and it looks great. Box sides, again, still printed all in blue, but shows off some photos, and then the other side just says Tallgeese 2. So that's all you get for the box on that one. Now we're going to open these up and show them off side by side, since they are essentially identical kits, apart from different markings and slightly different parts here and there. In fact, they both have the exact same instruction booklet. Only difference is Tallgeese 2 has this little supplement, which will explain some of the different parts that you would use. Like there's a different pilot figure that's a Traize figure as opposed to a Zechs. There's the different head, which has a different faceplate, head dome, and different crest. Instead of having the red semicircle, this one has more of a horsehair crest to it. And then the boosters, which just you would use different parts that were molded on a separate runner, as opposed to the existing parts which were molded in one color for the original Tallgeese. And then you've got your marking and painting guide. So, I won't go into too much detail about the main instruction manual, but we'll just kind of skim through it, because it's the same one for both, so there's not a lot of point. Detail about adding markings, a little bit of history about Gundam Wing, parts call-out guide. Assembly starts with the torso, then moves on to the head, arms, then legs. Center, my favorite part, always has the dramatic battle sequences, and then you got your mechanical info, history. This is the Tallgeese minus the boosters, shoulder armors, and part of its head, where you can see it very closely resembles the grunt mecha of the series called the Leo, which I was really hoping that Bandai was going to do one of, because I love me some grunt mecha, but this is the best we got, so maybe someone will do an option kit, like an aftermarket set. More details about like the option parts and how the shield can accommodate the beam sabers. Then construction continues with the legs, waist, rear skirt, backpack thruster units, then on to weapons. The big cannon on the right arm is called the Dober gun, and then the shield on the left arm. Then final assembly plus marking guide, and then painting on the back. So, because these boxes were packed in different orders, I'm going to have to kind of go through them and find matching pairs of runners so that I can just kind of show off what's different from what. So I'm going to start with this baggie on the Tallgeese side, see what I can find out of it, and then compare it to the Tallgeese 2. Both kits naturally come with a pair of beam saber blades. Both are identical. Tallgeese 1 on the left, Tallgeese 2 on the right. So clear parts, largely the same. Eyepieces are a little different. Colors are obviously very different. These would be parts for the boosters, I believe, in yellow on this side and in gray on this side. Shoulder armor, frame inserts, yellow on the Tallgeese 1, blue on the Tallgeese 2. This one has the red crest on that part, whereas this one does not. The crest is instead molded in yellow up here, the horsehair style. And then the vents, largely the same, both in yellow, but slightly different shades. We've got our marking sets. Tallgeese 2 does not appear to include any dry transfers, and in fact not even any stickers. It's funny, I was mentioning yesterday in the Astray video that Bandai very seldom does water slide decals. These are water slide decals. So, yeah, imagine that. But yeah, so we've got a few stickers for the Tallgeese 1. I believe these go on the boosters on the little flip-up winglets on them. I'm not sure what the red or the gray are for. But the Tallgeese 2 has far fewer stickers, just some white chevrons, gray dots, and eyes. Other markings, kind of hard to identify, but we got the dry transfers and stickers. Got a pair of basically identical runners here. Got leg parts. It's all white. They appear to be exactly identical down to the smallest detail. The Tallgeese 2 looks maybe a little more beige, and this one looks a little more pure white. But other than that, they look basically identical. The parts layout is completely the same. Another pair of identical runners. These ones are a little more obviously different. Tallgeese 1 is more of a darker gunmetal-ish non-metallic gray, while the Tallgeese 2 is more of a lighter, almost a dirty gray. But again, the parts layout is the same on both. Again, we got the Tallgeese 1 on the left, the 2 on the right. This one's a little bit different. There's a additional bit on the bottom here. Features the Tallgeese 1's head pieces, the faceplate, head frame, front plate, or side vents rather, and then the head dome, not to mention the Zechs pilot figures. Whereas this one does not have that part. It's included on a different runner in a different color. But otherwise, identical, just the white versus blue. More matching runners, Tallgeese 1, Tallgeese 2. This has all the hand parts. Always been surprised at the smallness of the hands of most of the Gundam Wing kits. Compared to the other series, they're very, very tiny. But also got the armatures for the shoulder mounts, the Dober gun and the shield, back plates for the hands, shoulder frame parts, and parts for the feet. Both kits include a spring. I'm not sure what it's for. I think it might be for, it goes in the gun someplace, but I'm not really certain. And another matched runner set. This one has more leg parts. This part is identical to another runner that we've already looked at, but this also has the skirt armor and thigh armor parts, in addition to some additional foot parts here and there. But yeah, aside from very slight color difference, the two are identical. Booster parts. Rear skirt armor, boosters, part of the head for Tallgeese 1, not included on the 2 obviously because they have different heads. Rear backpack booster flaps, not sure, maybe flank or part of the feet. I think these are definitely part of the feet and abdomen components. And then, not sure, this is not included on this runner. So this is probably part of the Tallgeese 1's neck. And then these bits, which are likewise part of the boosters, are not included on the Tallgeese 2's runner. Polycap set for both, as one would expect, are exactly the same. Mechanical detail parts. We got the shield frame, waist parts, torso, abdomen, hips, more waist components, stuff for the feet, beam saber mounts, I think. Yeah, again, runner is the same, just a slight, just different in color. And same story again, just exactly the same, just slightly different in color. And these are the 3 partial runner sections that are exclusive to the Tallgeese 3 or 2. We got parts for the chest, booster inserts, booster armor panels. I think these are the main outer frames, and then these are the nose cones, and then the head parts. Whereas this version of Tallgeese has a very Gundam-esque head. You can see it's got the twin vents, and then the kind of Gundam-ish nose. The crest mount is a little bit different, as is the cap, and then the head frame, as far as I can tell, is the same as the original, but can't really tell without comparing them side by side. Here you have the Traize Khushrenada standing figure, the Lady Un, his right-hand woman, who went a little crazy over the course of the show. I think she developed a multiple personality disorder. And then you have your sitting Traize pilot figure. And not sure if that's maybe a handle for the shield, or this might be, there's a some sort of grab handle just below the cockpit. I can't tell if that's that or if that's for the shield. And weapon parts. These are boosters for the side skirt armors, but the main frame parts and barrel parts for the Dober gun, which I gotta commend Bandai on the way they do gun barrels. Like, just having the end open, having it one piece, basically seamless, is a really great way to do it, and I wish more companies would do that. I think the bottom is open here. There is an insert for it, but it's an easy fix, and it means that the tip, the flash suppressor or muzzle brake, whatever you want to call it, is not a separate piece, and it's not likely to break off. And last up, we have the booster parts for the backpack, the different frames, solid frames, mounting points, and opening flaps. Like so much on these two kits, they are identical except for a slight difference in color.
Yeah, because the plural of goose is geese. Why isn't it called the Tallgeese, and then a pair of them would be called Tallgeese? Because Tallgeeses just sounds silly. I don't know, but they look like a damn cool pair of kits. I built the original Tallgeese back when it came out in 2013. It's one of the kits I actually built when I was living up in Lac La Biche. And I did a very crude job of it because I didn't have any paints. I barely had any tools. I had a hobby knife and nippers, and that was it. And I just kind of kludged it together. And it looked fine, but I always wished that I could have, stripped it and painted it, done a real nice job on it, and now I have a chance. And to do it with its sibling, the Tallgeese 2, which, to have gotten that kit for such a great goddamn deal. Like, I was seeing it on eBay selling for $200. There were resellers on Amazon, both .ca and .com, selling it for over $300. Now, why Bandai didn't release it as a mass market, I'm really salty at them for that. But likewise, they did the same for the Tallgeese 3, which I like even more. And I can't find anywhere for less than $150, and I'm not willing to spend that money on that kit. Especially considering I can't get it anywhere for free shipping. So we'd be talking $150 plus probably another $30 shipping from Hong Kong or someplace. Who the hell knows? But it's frustrating. So hopefully I'll be able to get my hands on one someday. There is a knockoff version by a company called Dragon Momoko I found out about recently. Came out about a year or two before Bandai's Tallgeese kit. I've heard it's pretty good, but I don't know how it would fit aesthetically with Bandai's versions. So I'm kind of reluctant. I want to do a little bit of research, but they're selling for a decent price. I could probably get one for about $50 if I decide to go that route, but I'd really rather not because it's a knockoff. But anyway, even so, it'll be nice to have the Tallgeese brothers side by side on a shelf someplace eventually. Even if their younger, arguably way cooler sibling isn't going to ever be on that shelf. But hey, Tallgeese 1 and 2 still awesome. Very excited. So yeah, I'm gonna work on those. I'll probably wait for a little bit until the renovations are done in the house, which, good, at the rate that things are getting added to the list, could take months. But we'll see. I don't know. I'll do them when I can. Probably won't do them back to back. I'll probably do one and then the other like a week or two later. Just take a break because building the same kit twice in rapid succession is always frustrating. Yeah, we'll see how it turns out. So stay tuned for tomorrow. We'll be taking a look at the Valkyrie. Really excited about that, but that's going to be a very far down the line long-term project. So thanks everyone out there for watching, and happy modeling.